Welcome back to It Resolves, where we play a new deck every single day. Today's deck is Rakdos Bombardment. What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another standard gameplay video. I hope you guys are doing well. Hopefully you've had a good weekend. I'm hoping we had a guest slot yesterday. I'm not 100% sure. We did have a number of people say they were interested, but then ran out of time this week and that kind of stuff. If you're interested in the guest slot, if you're a Magic creator of any kind, let us know. We'd love to get in contact with you, and we'd love to promote your channel on our channel. So we're doing that Saturdays at noon. If you are interested, there is a slot available. Just get in contact with us, and we'll work with you on that. But let's talk about today's deck. It is a bombardment deck. It's Rakdos Bombardment, created by the ever amazing Covert Go Blue, of course, the pinnacle of Magic content, let's be honest. This is an interesting one. So we haven't played a bombardment deck in quite a while. I wanted to kind of take another look at it, and I realized we had not played a Rakdos version, and part of the intrigue behind this was being able to play a deck with Arcane Bombardment and Invoke Despair in the same deck. I just think that's really, really good. And so most of what we have is built around kind of ramping into the bombardment and then hopefully being able to play something to trigger it. We do have the Bloodtithe Harvester here. As kind of an interesting, the blood tokens allow you to draw and do the whole, get more or further into your deck, which is really, really nice. We also do have the Celestus that we can use to work with that as well. To help trigger the bombardment for very cheap, we have Duress, Spikefield Hazard, as well as Voltage Surge. Some of these are easier than others, of course, and Duress you can play even though, sometimes you may know that you're not going to hit anything, but the idea is that you can, at least for 1 mana, trigger it, hopefully hit something else in your graveyard like a big score, ideally maybe an Invoke Despair or burn down the house, and then really start to take over the game. I have found in practice with basically any bombardment deck, if you really get this going and the opponent just doesn't have enchantment hate, or they at least didn't draw any enchantment hate, you most often just get a concession pretty quickly, which is kind of funny to me, but it is really nice. We do have Hunt for Specimens, which allows us to utilize the sideboard here, which is quite nice. We do get treasure tokens from Big Score as well as Fable, and so we actually are able to cast all these off-color things like Containment Breach, Teachings, etc., as well as just the Celestus, of course. So kind of an interesting build for sure. I'm very curious to see how this actually does on the ladder. Like I said, I did test just a little bit with this one. I got 1 or 2 games in, but not a lot because I didn't want to overdo it. And I'm kind of just excited to play with Bombardment again. I love this card. I think it's an absolute blast. So let's jump on, guys. Let's have some fun with this. Again, thank you to Covert Go Blue for creating and sharing this amazing list. I really do appreciate it, my friend. Let's see how it goes. All right, guys, here we are for game number 1. What an interesting hand. Do we like it? Kind of weirdly, look, hear me out. I'm going to try it. I don't think this is a good hand. I'm just saying it right now, but I kind of want to try it. Let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and turn 1 Duress. Just see what we hit here. Lots of interesting stuff, actually. What do we take? I don't love any of these, obviously. I think we take just the Kami's Flare. I think this represents more easily managed damage that I'm not super into, so I think I'd rather get rid of that. We do have the Voltage Surge to deal with this as well, albeit we don't quite yet get the ability to play it. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and Duress again. We'll just keep picking apart the hand here. There's really not a reason not to, I feel like. They're going to be able to get this reinforced Ronin down, and they could just Roiling Eruption, I suppose, on us, or Royal Eruption, excuse me. All right, sick. We lose some life. Not great, but not the end of the world. Hitting all the tapped lands here. Let's go ahead and play Hive. And I think we just leave up the Surge. I mean, there's not really anything else to do here. It's really just a matter of doing that, I think. All right. Interesting they didn't play anything like the reinforced Ronin yet. I'm wondering why. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Not what I expected at all. All right, let's go ahead and hunt. This is, I'm sure, just going to eat a removal spell, which is kind of fine, honestly. I don't really care that much. And I do think it's just environmental sciences here, honestly. The question is, do we feel like the Spikefield Hazard is going to be useful? I think a lot of what's in this deck is going to be 2 power. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this one down. May not be correct, I don't know, but if we draw a black source next turn, we can just Invoke Despair. If we don't, we do have the Hagra Mauling or Environmental Sciences, so we've got some options here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and block. There's really not a huge reason not to. Yes, we could have Spikefield Hazard this and just get it out of here at this point, but I think this is kind of fine. Okay, I think the play is pretty clear here. I think we're just going to go for the Environmental Sciences, pull that black source. That's going to allow us to next turn play the Invoke Despair, which is obviously very good for us. And they do get to throw this down with a 1/1 counter on it this turn, but next turn we actually just get to Invoke Despair, killing this, and, you know, if they play another creature, that as well. So not super worried about it. Sure, yeah, we take 3. Yeah, that's fine. These aggro decks are like fine. They're not that great in general. I mean, they're good on the ladder, obviously, for various reasons, but like we generally can dig out of it. Let's go ahead and do this. This is really only gonna hit one thing, but what we're able to do here is hopefully, yeah, draw some lands. We've got the Surge that we can use to hit the Ronin and just get it off of the field, and then we really don't have to worry about it anymore. They are trying to build up to a Royal Eruption, it looks like here, which is reasonable enough. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this now. Just no reason to deal with it, honestly. Awesome. All right. Well, we have got options, but I think it's just a pretty straightforward. We're gonna Invoke Despair, see what we draw, and then probably just go from there. That was very good. Let's go ahead and Bloodtithe Harvester. Get that blood token. So now we've got a threat. They're lower on life than we are. They might try and just go ahead and deal with the Bloodtithe Harvester with the Royal Eruption, which is like fine. Sure. We definitely just block this if they attack. I'm not really, I don't care that much about the Bloodtithe Harvester living. Okay. Sure. So we take 3. Obviously not great, but again, not the end of the world. We do have Hagra Mauling, which I think I'll just go ahead and use. They're down to basically nothing. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just do this. I didn't actually mean to like play that out right away, but that's fine. And yeah, we just really haven't drawn an Arcane Bombardment, so that's kind of where we're at the moment. But 5, 6, 7, so they can just hit us for a lot. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and draw and discard a card here. Let's get rid of that. Cool. Let's see what happens. Actually, I think we probably want that. I think it's just that. Maybe not. I don't know. I kind of want the gain life here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's perfectly reasonable. We'll just go ahead and throw these guys out. And we'll go ahead and hunt. Yeah, I mean, I'm not super worried about anything here, to be honest. I guess we'll take the Pest Summoning. Honestly, the reason I'd rather have the life gains, so that's kind of why I'm going for the Pest Summoning. But there we go, guys. We didn't even have to play Bombardment. We just won the game, which is pretty awesome. Let's jump into a game 2. What's up, guys? Before we jump into the next game, I just want to remind you, if you would like to pick up this month's Patreon rewards, feel free to do so at patreon.com/itresolves. All right, guys, here we are for our second game. And yeah, this is an easy keep. We've got a couple Spikefield Hazards here. We've got a turn 2 play. I think we'll probably just lead on the Caves. Chances are these, I mean, they might hit something turn 1, but it's not a huge deal either way. They're gonna Duress. Okay. I assume they just take Invoke. Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and play this. We'll go ahead and play the Harvester. Just kind of progress the board a little bit. If they do have a removal spell, they're kind of enticed to use it now. They are mono black, but they're not Blood on the Snow, which is pretty important to know. Okay, sure. Big score's not bad, actually. we'll just do this, I think. Just kind of let things happen and see what we get. The Pathway does give us our 4th black mana, which is quite nice. Okay. I'm just going to get rid of the Spikefield Hazards here. I'm kind of okay with that. It's not great, obviously, but it's fine-ish. All right, we'll just do that. I think we'll just leave up the big score and see what happens. This is obviously a discard-heavy deck, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. And yeah, this should be okay-ish. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll discard the Pathway. Draw a couple cards. Oh, all lands. That's not ideal. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Certainly don't love this. There's not a ton. I mean, we can just attack, I suppose. We do open ourselves up a little bit here. I think I'd rather have just the Voltage Surge available at the moment. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Let's see. They probably just Deadly Dispute here. Yep, cool, you got it. We're kind of just trying to force them into a position, though, where they don't have much on the field, so I'm kind of okay with this. They do have the Environmental Sciences now if they want to throw it out. We've only got 1 more card in hand, so they could run a discard spell at us just to top deck us, but honestly, it doesn't hurt us that much. I'd kind of rather them do that. Wow, all the lands. Okay, let's do this. Go ahead and try and dig out of this. Oh my goodness. All the lands. This is less than ideal for sure. Let's get the Eye Twitch out of there. It's the only creature. And therefore, you know, if they happen to have a way to bring it back for whatever reason, it just means that there's 1 less threat to worry about, even though it is just an Eye Twitch, of course, but that's fine. There's the Lolth. All right, sick. I'm very curious as to why this isn't a Blood on the Snow deck, I'll be honest. That seems a little odd, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and just play the Arcane Bombardment, I think. And in case we draw a big score, I think we hold on to the Haunted Ridge, because we are going to want to, no matter what we draw, if it's a instant or sorcery, we're going to want to play it. So that's just kind of a necessity, I think, at this point. Please don't kill Arcane Bombardment. Please don't kill Arcane Bombardment. It's literally the only thing we have. Okay. Well, Go Blank is really bad for us, as we know. Go Blank is a really good main deckable way to deal with so many things in the format. I've talked about it before because I feel like it's just kind of an underrated card. Wow, and they have the Invoke. Okay, well, chances are we're not going to be able to dig out of this anymore. Interesting that they attacked there, though. I'm going to just go ahead and kill Lolth, because why not? Go ahead and get the Invoke Despair out of there. Kind of interesting that they went for that. Let's go ahead and I am going to burn through the mana here to play the Celestus, just because this allows some opportunity to dig. But I think this game is pretty well handled by the opponent at this point. Unless, of course, if we draw like something really good, like a burn down the house would be amazing right now, just to be able to sweep, kind of deal with everything. We wouldn't have to worry about it, but obviously that is not the case. We'll go ahead and Bloodtithe Harvester. I don't see a huge reason not to. And I think we can just go ahead and Hive, and if they have a kill spell, they have a kill spell. I don't really care. I think at this point we're close to dead anyway. Yep, I think they have a kill spell. Wow, deal 6, gain 6. Nice. Yeah, that was really good. Interesting. I'm curious how many Go Blanks they have. They've played 2. Normally you don't run the full 4 because it's like diminishing returns is certainly there. Like if you have 2 back-to-back, they're really not that good. You know what I mean? And so it is kind of interesting. It's also like the further the game goes on, the closer you get to top deck anyway. So it's kind of like, it doesn't really matter. Again, burn down the house would be amazing. We did not draw it. Technically, we could still play it if we get it off of the blood token. Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and concede here, guys. Unfortunately, we just did not get there that game. It's okay, though. Let's jump into a game 3. Let's see if we can get it there. All right, guys, here we are for game 3. Let's see if we can get there this time. I do like this hand, and so we will keep it. The Spikefield Hazard early could certainly be good, especially against a Luminarch Aspirant, which they could very easily have, so I am going to go for the turn 1 Spikefield Hazard. No. Story Seeker. Gotta be honest, didn't expect a Story Seeker. Sure. Interesting. So next turn we do have a decision to make. Do we want a Spikefield Hazard for the land, or do we just want to kind of go for it? Yep. This is certainly not a good start for us. We'd really... Double Spikefield Hazard is available. I think we just pass. I don't love this. Like, there's not a lot we're going to be able to do here, so this is going to potentially suck a lot. We might just get wrecked. They do have black, and they do gain a life. Okay. So this could be like a Vanishing Verse deck. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this just to get it out of there. Yeah, resolve all. Unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do there. I'd love to draw a land. I think the land would be probably just the best. The trick is, like, this is gonna start outpowering everything. Like, there's not a lot. Once they get the +2/+2, the burn down the house doesn't deal with everything. They're gonna get to 26 here. So they're 1 away. I think we literally have to throw this out for the lands. They're gonna do this. What do we do? I think it's probably just environmental sciences, as much as that kind of sucks. We're light on land here. Wow. All right, so there's the buff that they're all gonna get. Burn down the house is still a good play. It's just not like a game finishing play. It deals with 2 of the 3, which is great, but it doesn't deal with everything. And if they have another creature, it doesn't even deal with the cleric. Oh, come on. Seriously? That's so obnoxious. Why is it a tapped land? All right, I'm gonna good game them here. Guys, we're early. I'm gonna try and go for 1 more. That was really annoying. If that had been an untapped land, we could have maybe gotten there, but that's okay. Let's jump into a game 4. All right, guys, for real, this is our last game. This has to be the last game. Weird hand, actually. So we have, what, 3 turns to draw, and we are on the draw. And if we do get there, we get the Celestus down. I think that might be enough to still keep. The double bombardment's a little rough early in the hand, but I'm gonna try it. This isn't a good keep. We'll probably lose, but you know what? We've done a lot of that today, so that's okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. Colo Tiger, don't be a slow player, man. Come on. Here we go. No, it's fine. All right, guys, I will just say, I want to extend a huge thank you to everybody in the community right now, because we have been seeing so much of a just a wave of support for the channel recently. Some of that I think has been because we've really pushed a lot more content out for you guys. I mean, daily videos, lots of live streams, just a little bit of everything, hopefully, for everybody. And I really do just appreciate everybody being so supportive and, you know, joining us in what has been a huge adventure and trying to get so much content out for you guys. It's been an absolute pleasure, honestly, but it certainly is a lot of work, and so I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody. It means a lot to have you guys in the community, hanging out with us, joining us for what I think is a really fun time. I am going to attack in. I don't think they block. I don't really see a reason why they would. But it does mean a lot, guys. So I just want to say a huge thank you. It's great to see the community growing. And it certainly has over the last couple of weeks, and I'm sure some of that's giveaway related, but overall, I just think it's a pleasure to see you guys and have everybody here. So thank you very, very much. It really means a lot to me, guys. And I know for John as well, I don't want to speak for him, but it's been an absolute it's been amazing having John on board. And I don't tell him this enough. So John, if you're watching, thanks, buddy. But just the work that he puts in, the dedication to the streaming aspect of it, and the schedule keeping is certainly something I appreciate. And so it really does mean a lot to have everybody, you know, being a part of this thing that's bigger than all of us. Wow, there's our third bombardment. Okay. I don't really know what the right call is, but I think we have to do this. And leave up the no, I think we can just go ahead and surge now. Doesn't really matter, I don't think, but we're just gonna go ahead and surge now. Just so if they want to attack in with the Asika's Chariot, they have to tap the rest of their board to do it. But this also gets us up to 4 mana. Also, my dog is like licking herself like crazy. You guys probably can't hear it, but it's very obnoxious. I think we just take 4. As much as I don't want to. This kept them from drawing an extra card is really the big takeaway. Yeah, I will take that action. I need a land, like, desperately. Every time it's a tapped land. Every time. Now their whole board is a lot bigger, too. Jeez, that sucks so bad. We do have the hunts. Next turn we do have bombardment. I don't know. I guess we'll just pass. This is like a not great place to be. We probably are gonna throw a bombardment away just because we don't need this many. Like, there's no way we're gonna get out of this by just triple playing bombardment. And so my assumption is we can just kind of deal with that. All right. Yep. Goodness. Sure. We are definitely gonna die. Oh my god. Okay, cool. This deck is not working as well as I was hoping it would. Covert Go Blue, man, I hate it, because this deck is really sick. But I do think, you know, obviously the meta is pretty tied down with Invoke Despairs and whatnot right now, so maybe that's just part of it. But let's just go ahead and big score. It's not really gonna matter. Do this. Give me a untapped land would be sick. Dude, what in the world? Yeah. It's ridiculous. No lands. Just no lands at all. Not Spikefield Hazarding. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we still need an untapped land to just bombardment plus another thing. And we don't really have a great thing to do anyway. Burn down the house would be very helpful. Potentially the best thing we could get. All right, let's talk about this deck. All right, so that really did not go our way. I will just say, I think we got very unlucky with the lands. I would try and like tool around with the lands a little bit to see what other untapped sources we could get, because I feel like we kept getting tapped lands. And, you know, obviously late game, this is a relatively late game deck in the sense that it's trying to play a turn, you know, 4 or 5 bombardment, I guess 5 bombardment. And so it's like, it kind of sucks when you're drawing those tapped land sources that, yeah, we could have played bombardment that turn, but we didn't have an untapped source to actually play anything else with it. And so we got to a point where we just had nothing we could do. Now, some of that I'm sure is down to luck. Some of that I'm sure is down to you could probably up that percentage just a bit. But all in all, I will just say, again, Covert Go Blue, I don't think this deck is bad. I think it's bad for the meta potentially right now. Invoke Despair is a rough one. And unfortunately, we did see it do its work against us the turn, or the game where we actually got to cast Arcane Bombardment. And so, you know, it sucks. I will say what's nice about this deck is, and we did get to see this, against the early aggro decks, like the mono red stuff right now, you know, this deck has all the pieces to kind of deal with that. And it has just a couple of incidental life gain pieces with some of the lands and stuff that, you know, gives it the buffer it needs to be able to get to the late game. And generally, if you get there against mono red, you can probably take it over. And we got to see that in action. So I think this does a good job of dealing with a lot of the decks in the meta. Unfortunately, I just think it's skewed, if that makes sense. I don't think it's like a good or bad deck in terms of calling it for the meta, but I think what you're getting into is it's really good against some and really bad against others, and there's not much in between where you've got like a really good game plan against mono black. Or, you know, whatever it might be. I think the Ascendancy was a good option as well. We do get pieces to deal with it, but they're doing so much in the early turns of the game that, like, you can't, it's not as easy to double up on a Invoke Despair. You know, even if you do get the Arcane Bombardment down, it's still a bit of a luck aspect to it. And so all that being said, very fun deck, but unfortunately we just didn't really get there this time. And you know what? It's cool. Hopefully it was still fun for you guys to watch. I do really appreciate, again, Covert Go Blue, thank you so much, my man, for throwing this deck over on Aether Hub. I do appreciate it. And hopefully we'll explore some more Bombardment decks soon. I really do like the card. I don't think it's great in the meta, but it's a fun card to build around. So regardless, guys, I do appreciate everybody watching. Thank you so much. Thank you to Covert Go Blue. We'll see you again tomorrow.